Handling rent arrears in letting agency. Today I'm joined by Heidi Shackell, who is boss lady of the a referencing firm in Peterborough. What's your top tips on handling rent arrears? Talk to me.
Okay, well, first of all, we don't have a massive problem in the UK. Most tenants pay their rent on time. Like, most tenants are decent tenants. However,
it's in single digits. It's about 1 or 2. Is it 1 or 2%?
Yeah. So if we actually look at what we've got as an average of claims, it's 1.6% of properties go into arrears and require some intervention of whatever type. So, okay, like we say, most people are decent. But the point is we need to try and help when it goes wrong. So the first thing is quick action. You've got to have the best to help you. We work with specialist solicitors. We have an expert team, and they get in there fast. That's the key thing. Estate agents, letting agents can't be good at absolutely everything. They're specialists in their thing. Mediation, talking to the tenants, just talking, opening the lines of communication. We can typically resolve 40% of situations within 1 week, just by a third party being involved, whoever that might need to be.
Do you think it's important that it is a third party?
I think if the agent has tried and the tenant is either not communicating or they're not getting anywhere, being the ones to kind of intervene and saying, look, we're the third party that can step in here before we're, doing court proceedings, getting along that track, makes a massive difference, because they feel like you're acting as a middle man, lady, to try and get resolution.
I mean, how rare is it that tenant referencing does rent arrears?
In what way, sorry?
Well, you're a tenant referencing firm, aren't you?
Yeah, yeah.
So why are you getting involved with rent arrears?
Well, because we offer way more than that. So, for us personally, for example, we would offer a guarantee on our reference that if a tenant went into arrears, within the first period of time, 12 months, etc., we could even give a guarantee to sort it out if it goes wrong. Offer fraud guarantee if we've obviously let somebody through that absolutely shouldn't have been. But there's obviously loads of different kind of reasons why arrears kind of come into play. So although the kind of claims propensity rate is still fairly low, the amount of money now at stake is rising and rapidly. That's the problem.
So your first top tip is get someone independent, which again, agents that are listening to this, I mean, they might not have you as their referencing firm. Is there any other tips that you'd give them? Because obviously they have to keep that in-house.
So many other referencing firms would do it too. So it's not just about what we might do, but also then it's kind of, having a really good solicitor firm, either be a local one or a national one where they can intervene quickly. The second tip really would be then to make sure every I is dotted, T is crossed from the beginning, because it's getting more complex. Tenants are getting more savvy. There's a lot more information online for them about how to drag out the court proceedings process, how to defend action. So again, using somebody who knows exactly what to do in that situation to try and avoid that, because the worst thing that can happen in a rent arrears situation is it goes on and on and on and on and on.
I did some research a couple of years ago and found out that the rent arrears through private landlords was about 280% higher than it was with agents.
Yeah.
Is that still the case?
I don't know a stat, but it wouldn't surprise me. If we think about letting agents, I'm obviously a massive, tenant referencing advocate, huge. But actually, tenant referencing gets the right people into the property. That's what it's designed to do. A bit like security at the airport, right? Most people going through it are decent people that want to just get from A to B. Some people have got other ulterior motives. Our job is to stop the ones and fast. But what actually has now happened with tenant referencing is, you've got a situation where, forgetting the people that are, want to do criminal activity or commit fraud, you've got the people that change small things on affordability because cost of living's come into play, the demand on the housing market with stock being so low. So actually you've got a situation where someone's in the property, they've managed to get in for whatever method, but they just can't afford it. The car breaks down and all of a sudden there is no spare money. I don't think private landlords have access so much to those services to protect them. And then again, I don't think they necessarily know what to do when it goes wrong. When a tenant is 1 month in arrears, assuming there's no damage to the property, the problem is resolved because it's sat in a deposit account. When a tenant is 2 months in arrears, based on average rent now, there's, you know, £1,500 to find, and they can't find it. So if you get in quickly, although, you know, I'm sure for an agent or a landlord, you know, the best outcome isn't always surrender of tenancy. The fact that that is an option.
And do you think that's the big one?
Time, yeah. You
Get
know,
in early. If you can get a solicitor, if you can get in third party, great. But time is the big one.
yeah, everyone buries their head in the sand in a horrible situation. Not a lot of tenants will put their hand up and, you know, and not a lot of people will obviously offer help to a tenant as well. You know, when we're referencing tenants, you know, when the industry is referencing tenants, it's not just to protect the landlord. It's actually to make sure the tenant doesn't enter into a contract which they can't afford. You know, if you think about it, if you're going for a loan or, you know, finance in some way, there's loads of checks put on you to make sure that you physically can pay it back. With a tenancy agreement, you know, you're near enough granting a line of credit, you know, £15,000 now pretty much every time, where you're basically saying, okay, here you go, here's 15 grand, sign this AST. You've got no advice. There's no one telling you anything about it. In you go.
That's a great way to look at it. Never thought of it that way.
So actually, you know, we have a duty to tenants too. Make sure they're not going to enter into something they genuinely can't afford, because A, that's a really depressing situation for them, but it will end in a county court judgment. It'll end in, you know, a bad reference that will affect their ability to move again.
One final question on this. Why don't many landlords go for a CCJ against a tenant when they move out and they're in plenty in arrears?
Yeah.
I've always found that really strange.
It's very annoying, because it would really help all of us that are designed to stop tenants getting back through the system if there was something public on the record. They don't, mainly because two reasons. One, money. They've already spent an absolute fortune getting possession of their property back, and therefore to pay an extra few £100 to get a CCJ against a tenant they don't want to. And secondly, they're probably unaware of the process, and it's not kind of brought to their attention that that's what they necessarily could do.
Do you think that should be the letting agent's responsibility?
I think the court should be changed, that if a tenant is evicted from a property, a CCJ should be lodged against them automatically, personally, because I think it would act as a deterrent as well, to try and get early resolution and do the right thing. Some tenants, you know, fall on really hard times and it's sad. Other tenants know exactly how to play the system.
Thank you for your time today.
Thank you.